right, well, good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining me this afternoon. It's my pleasure to join you today here in traditional Blackfoot territory in Treaty 7. I'm also joined by Graham Sucha, who's the MLA for Calgary Shaw, and we are in his neighborhood here in southeast Calgary. I'm so pleased to be here at Avalon Master Builder to unveil Energy Efficiency Alberta's final report. Avalon is an example of an innovative Alberta company that understands that Albertans see the value in energy efficiency to save them money and make their lives more comfortable. They have shown what's possible in making energy efficiency improvements and how it leads to savings for homeowners. I want to say thank you to Avalon President and CEO Ryan Scott for joining us here today, Vice President Chris Williams, and Rob Lowther, CFO, is also joining us here today, as well as Matt House, who's the sales rep for this community. The house we're standing in is 37% cheaper than buildings done to current code for heating and lighting. We're also joined by Eric Heck from Mission Green Buildings, who can also provide comment later this afternoon on the economic opportunities that efficiency programs and incentives create. I'd like to welcome also Michelle Asgard, Tanya Doran, and Jesse Rowe behind me, who, along with the other expert panel members, worked to provide the government with their insight and expertise on energy efficiency. It is their report and advice that we are releasing today. I want to thank you for your contributions and recognize that what you have provided us is a roadmap for energy efficiency in Alberta and advice we can follow for years to come. Late last year, we also appointed our board that will give effect to our Crown agency that will deliver energy efficiency programs. I'm joined by Board Chair David Dodge and Board Member Vittoria Bellissimo here today. Thank you for your service. Energy efficiency matters to Albertans. They want our province to lead on an issue that's critical to our economy and to our future. In Alberta, we pride ourselves on being energy leaders, and rightfully so. Our energy industry and the people who work in it are the best in the world. By now, we all know that a rapidly changing climate poses real and significant risks to Alberta's environmental and economic well-being. Energy efficiency programs, like the ones recommended by the expert panel, are among the lowest cost ways to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions. They also help create jobs. Because Alberta is a little late to this game, we're the last jurisdiction in North America to deliver energy efficiency programs. We already know that energy efficiency programs are effective in reducing emissions and will reduce energy costs for consumers. Previously, inaction on energy efficiency meant that we failed to see efficiency for what it really is, another untapped energy resource. It's an energy resource that represents good value for our money, creating about 50 jobs for every $1 million invested. It also helps drive new businesses, new jobs, and builds a new industry, as well as supporting existing industries and companies like Avalon here in Calgary. Efficiency investments lead to the kind of growth that Alberta's middle class and those struggling to get ahead need to thrive. Hundreds of Albertans contributed to the Energy Efficiency Advisory Panel process through public town halls, focused technical engagement sessions, and one-on-one meetings. Through that process, Albertans asked and gave us many answers to a number of questions. Where are the opportunities to reduce consumption and save money? What kinds of programs will make the biggest difference in people's lives? How can government best partner with the private sector, with communities, with businesses big and small to make it all happen? These are the questions that have helped set out a plan and a timeline for delivering the energy efficiency initiatives that Albertans have been waiting for. I believe as an energy province that when it comes to efficiency, Alberta should always be leading, never following. Our new Crown agency, Energy Efficiency Alberta, will promote and support energy efficiency programs and community energy systems. For example, small-scale generation of solar and other renewables for homes, businesses, and communities, like the new community here in Cranston. Based on the advice from the expert panel in the report that you will read today, the agency has already started work on 3 programs, a starter kit to help households, businesses, nonprofits, and other organizations with incentives and retrofits for buildings and high-efficiency appliances. Among the recommendations are pathways to take advantage of Alberta's tremendous solar resources and helping families make use of lighting and energy management technology. We know that Albertans want concrete actions quickly, but they also want it done right. And so there will be 3 new programs, the starter kit that I mentioned, starting in a few weeks' time. They are, number 1, a residential no-cost energy savings program, which will provide no-charge installation of low or no-cost energy efficiency products to homeowners and tenants, including things like lighting elements, water fixtures, and programmable thermostats. The second program will be a residential retail products program, which offers rebates to residential customers at retail outlets for insulation and appliances. Third, there will be a business, nonprofit, and institutional energy savings program that will provide incentives for high-efficiency equipment. There is a lot more to come based on the panel's expert advice, but these initial programs will get the ball rolling as we work to reinvest carbon levy revenues to programs that will benefit citizens, households, businesses, and communities. I really want to thank the Energy Efficiency Advisory Panel members again for their hard work and the hundreds of hours that they put in to their advice to government. I also want to thank again Avalon Master Builder for accommodating us here today, and everyone who is working on energy efficiency, because Alberta is moving forward. We are moving forward with programs that will save Albertans money, make homes more affordable, and provide consumers with affordable energy choices. By saving money and reducing emissions, our province will create jobs, prepare for a carbon-constrained future, and protect our energy industry. Because Albertans are leaders, we are doers. And with our Made in Alberta plan, we will succeed in diversifying our economy and transitioning to a lower carbon future. Thank you, and I'm happy to take questions.
Thanks very much, Minister. If you have a question, if you could just use the microphone so the people on the phone lines could hear properly.
Hi, Minister. Aaron from Metro. I just wanted to ask, I don't know if you would have this number, but for the average homeowner in Alberta, how much do you figure it would cost to make their home energy efficient?
You know, that's a really tough one, and it's a fairly technical question. It really depends on what you've done already and what there is left to do, the age of your home, and so on. Many of the things, though, that will reduce consumption and therefore costs are very, very simple, like switching out to LED lighting, like switching out to faucet aerators or programmable thermostats. It is actually quite amazing what you can do with those very, very simple changes, and those are exactly the kinds of programs that our province is looking at supporting.
Anyone on the phone? Operator?
Emma Graney from the Edmonton Journal. Your line is open. Yeah, g'day, Minister. Thanks for taking my call. I have a few questions for you. Reading through that report, when it comes to long-term goals for the Crown Agency, there seems to be light on details at this point, but I'm wondering if you have any idea where that Alberta-focused market research is going to go and in what direction you might head.
Sure. Well, all energy efficiency programs are generally supported by market research because we need to know what are the best programs that people have not already taken advantage of and where the opportunities are. And so this is something that we've seen throughout North America, that you need to be delivering programs that have not been had a large amount of uptake, but there is an appetite for. So, for example, they do this in Medicine Hat with the Hat Smart program, that they've introduced a number of different programs that are sort of seeing their natural decline. And so what they're looking to do with our energy efficiency investments is reinvest into things that are kind of the second tier. So all of this rolls along as you see uptake with, for example, the really simple things that I talked about, like programmable thermostats and so on, then you can move on to other programs. So this is an evolving thing. It's a long-term project. Certainly it's been a long-term project in other jurisdictions, and we are very much playing catch-up here in Alberta, given that the previous government did not take action at all on this topic.
And then when it comes to, there was one line in there, it talked about data access to specific consumers to kind of see how they're consuming energy and what programs can be developed specific for them. I'm wondering if you can, I guess people don't really like being watched necessarily by government or their electricity provider. So how will this actually help, and what safeguards are going to be put in place in terms of privacy?
Oh, well, this is something that happens in every other jurisdiction in terms of conversations with the utilities. And so utilities can then provide their customers with data that the customers actually want. The customers want to look at year-over-year use. They want to see where the possibility for savings are, and this is what happens in other jurisdictions. And so we will be following that model very closely. And it is one of the ways that, again, that we are able to deliver the programs that actually make the most difference to consumers. And another thing that consumers really like, I know, for example, in Lethbridge, there is a way to compare your water use to those around you, because of course it's a pretty hot and dry place, and you don't get specific data to specific households, but you get neighborhoods and so on. And what that does is, in many ways, it provides a bit of a challenge to everyone, but it also allows utilities to plan a little bit better in terms of their distribution, their investments over time, any changes or upgrades to machinery or equipment. And the same goes for utilities when there's a bit more reporting. I think what we would do here is first have a look at what the lay of the land is, because some companies in a deregulated market do things differently than others. For example, ENMAX has been a real leader on this matter here in Calgary. And then what we would do is look at best practices and find out ways that we can move forward together so we have best practices prevailing across the province.
Operator, can you put through the next caller, please? Are there any other questions in the room?
On the third section you talked about for businesses, is there a dollar value that's attached to a savings for companies related to cost savings in electricity or power consumption, or how their business plan is?
Well, again, it really depends on what the input costs for any business or community group or a municipality or nonprofit might be. And so part of this is also making sure that they have access to a broad enough range of things that they can solve simple problems like lighting, things that are common to almost everyone, water use and so on, and insulation. Those are the three big ones.
If there's infrastructure, as an example, for solar panels and whatnot, is there a percentage kickback that the government would give for those incentives?
So the business, nonprofit, and institutional that we're talking about today that's going to roll in March through the efficiency agency is for things like heating, cooling, insulation, that kind of equipment, and lighting and so on. However, we will have more to say about the residential and commercial solar programs very soon.
All right, if there aren't any other questions, and thank you very much. There will be copies, printed copies of the report we'll just put on the table here if anyone is interested in one. Thanks very much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I just want to point out that we also have two other MLAs from the neighborhood. We have Michael Connolly here from Calgary Hawkwood, and Karen McPherson from Calgary McKay-Nose Hill. And it's a long name every single time. But she's also from a neighboring riding here as well. And we have a number of folks from Avalon and from the green building sector who are happier to provide comment, in addition to the panel members and David Dodge and Victoria as board members for our energy efficiency agency. So thank you.